Hi everyone, Dr. Karen here. We are talking about boundaries today. You are going to be able to apply what I'm going to teach you both to work and business, your teams, your well-being, your mental health, your family, your marriage, your parenting. This is one of those beautiful topics. I love teaching. That's what we focus on as a company. We teach leadership EQ skills. And when we learn these very powerful tools, they can apply and impact us in all parts of our life, our professional life, our relationships, and also our wellness. And the topic of boundaries is one of those topics. So lots to cover in this. I'm going to be sharing with you kind of three reasons why a lot of people don't set boundaries, and then three benefits around why it's important to set boundaries. And when I talk about boundaries, I'm talking about how do you set boundaries as it relates to whether it's your time, your finances, your tasks, your eating, your relationships. Again, we're going to be able to kind of dive into all of this, but I've been doing this work for over 25 years, started in the family side, family practice, now work with global organizations on teaching leadership skills. And so again, I love doing this. I love teaching and really equipping all of us on the practical leadership tools that we can apply both to work and at home. Okay, so what holds people back? Okay, so lots of different things. What holds people back? What holds people back about setting boundaries in terms of, let's say, about their time? You know, like what holds people back about setting boundaries with their time, or boundaries around their finances? A lot of people don't like setting boundaries with doing budgets, or boundaries around food. So whatever the topic is, the same principle, you can actually apply it. Okay, so what actually holds people back? Well, the first one I would actually say, and I'm going to give you three. The first one, it's just unfamiliar. There's no role models. So, you know, if somebody has really struggled, let's say, with a lack of boundaries with your financing, okay, I'm just going to give that as an example. You know, just ask yourself, did you see great modeling around budgeting and financing from your family? You know, so a lot of these concepts, we learn them from our family, growing our family of origin. And so it's unfamiliar. And so we haven't seen it taught. If we haven't seen boundaries around food, we don't really know what to do with that. Or so that's the first one. Okay, it's unfamiliar. The second one is, for a lot of people, the reason that they don't set boundaries or have difficulty setting boundaries is they find it difficult to say no. And when we find it difficult to say no, a lot of times it's because we don't want to disappoint other people. Maybe we feel like our self-worth is attached to whether or not actually other people like us. And so therefore we just want to say yes all the time. And so having difficulty saying no is a really popular one around a lot of people have difficulty setting boundaries. And that's part of a leadership skill. Okay, so that's part of a leadership skill. And like I said, we specialize in teaching leadership EQ. That's our niche. That's our focus. And it would be great for you to get your hands on our leadership EQ scorecard. And it's free. You can measure your leadership EQ. So all you have to do is, in the comments below, type in EQ. Just type in EQ, and somebody from our team will send you our leadership EQ scorecard, and you can measure yourself. And setting boundaries and learning how to set boundaries is part of that. So just go ahead and type that in below, and somebody from our team will send that to you. And like I said, it's free. Okay, the third reason why a lot of people don't set boundaries, and this is a really popular one. I hear this from lots of our business clients, our family clients, is a lot of people actually find setting boundaries feels restrictive. It feels like I'll have clients sometimes say, you know, well, I don't want anyone to tell me with what to do. And so it feels restrictive. It feels like all of a sudden they have, feels like a parent-child kind of dynamic. And so by setting boundaries, they feel restrictive, that they don't have full freedom. And it's such an interesting concept, because what I try to tell all of our clients is that when you learn how to set healthy boundaries in your life, it is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. It's the greatest gift you can give to yourself and I'm going to talk about the benefits in just a second, when you learn how to do it well. Okay, and you understand why boundaries, I say boundaries are your best friend, as long as you can learn how to do it in a way that is really empowering actually for yourself. But a lot of people say, oh, it feels restrictive. I don't want to set boundaries. I don't want to say no to myself. And so they're constantly living in an instant gratification experience. The problem, okay, and the problem is that if we do not learn how to set boundaries, it's like we're not learning how to delay gratification. We will experience consequences for those choices. All right, so it is really important if we want to be successful in our business, in our relationships, in our wellness. It is really important that we learn how to effectively set boundaries. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits. Okay, so what are the benefits of setting boundaries? The first thing that is really important, the joys of boundaries. I love healthy boundaries. All right, boundaries are going to be your best friend again when you learn how to do this well. One of the most critical pieces around boundaries, and let's say with your time, okay, so for you learn to set boundaries with your time, just say with your business, you're setting some boundaries around what are going to be your key priorities. When you have that, you know what happens? Your productivity goes through the roof, okay? Your productivity actually goes through the roof. This is number one, because you become very clear around what you're going to be saying yes to and what you're going to be saying no to. And so when we get really clear on our boundaries, our productivity actually goes a lot higher. Number two, and this is kind of correlated. Number two is it actually impacts decision making. In my book, The Three Chairs, I talk a lot about productivity, communication, boundaries, mental health, overall leadership EQ. You can pick it up on Amazon. But the second benefit around setting boundaries is decision making. So when you have clarity on what boundaries you want to set up for yourself, whether it's with your tasks, whether or not it's with your eating, whether or not it's with your finances, again, either personal or business, whatever the topic is, you can take hundreds of different topics. Once you get clarity on what it is that you want and the boundaries that you're going to do to protect it, you know what happens? Productivity goes up. I already mentioned that. The second thing is it really helps with clear decision making. If we don't have clarity on our vision, if we don't have clarity on what boundaries we want to set up for ourselves, decision making is all over the map. We're going to be very reactive. We'll be like, yeah, we're going to be saying yes all over the place, and it's going to be extremely confusing. And then what happens is we burn out. And so that's what's going to happen if we don't get really, really smart and wise with setting boundaries. Okay, so number one, the benefit is productivity goes higher. Number two, decision making gets a lot clearer. And the third benefit, when we learn how to set really healthy boundaries, whether it's with finances, with our time, with our eating, with our relationships, again, you fill in the blank. The final thing is our self-care and our mental health radically improves. And this is where my background in psychology is super helpful when I'm doing leadership development, because I'm a specialist in this area. I've been doing this work for a long time. I'm still registered. I practice. And that benefits and helps me when I'm working with global organizations and trying to help them, both business leaders, professionals, learning how to set boundaries. Well, guess what? When we learn how to set boundaries really well, our productivity goes really high. Our stress actually comes low. Isn't that great? So this is the joy. This is what I said. Tell my clients all the time. The joy, the benefit, when we learn how to set boundaries well, they become our best friend. They become it's like they're taking care of us. It's like they're giving us a big hug around us. They're going to help us get clarity, protect. What am I going to say yes to? What am I going to say no to? Productivity goes high, decision making goes really high, stress and self-care gets highly, significantly improved. So hopefully you have a new perspective, a new framework in terms of understanding boundaries. I hope you've liked this video. Be sure to like our YouTube, check out our other videos that we have here. And like I said, if you would like to get our scorecard, write that below in the chat function, and somebody from our team will send that to you so you can keep getting free resources. They're all free resources on how you can develop your leadership EQ. Thanks, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you at one of our other videos.